Now, I got home from work last night and turned on the TV and watched all this nonsense going on live. It is a rally in which Kamala Harris announced her vice presidential running mate name of Tim Walz. He's the Minnesota governor. So let's have a little look at this appalling saga of self-gratification. Have a look at it.
And make no mistake, violent crime was up under Donald Trump. That's not even counting the crimes he committed. Just an observation of mine that I made. I just have to say it. You know it, you feel it. These guys are creepy and, yes, just weird as hell. That's what you see. That's what you see. So you know what's out there, so say it with me. We aren't going back. We aren't going back. We are not going back.
All right, that's enough of that. He looks like Frasier's ugly brother. And Kamala and him seem to have this phrase, we're not going back. I have no idea what this means. This guy, he's a former high school football coach. He was in the National Guard. He was a sergeant major. He's got this kind of Midwest folksy dad appeal. You know, bald, chubby, all that. Will he be any good for Kamala or not? Let's ask our friend, the chair of the Republican Overseas Organization, Greg Swenson. Hi, Greg. What do you make of him?
Yeah, of course I don't like the guy. You know, you're right. He does have this folksy kind of Midwestern look. I'm not impressed. He's a progressive favorite. You know, Kamala made a choice that basically she was bullied by the progressive left wing, the pro-Hamas wing of her party. The likely choice was Josh Shapiro from Pennsylvania, who's a governor of a swing state and also considered a moderate. I don't think he's that moderate, but he was pro-Israel and also, at least in his campaign, was pro-school choice, which is a very big thing in America and a very big thing for voters, especially parents. So this guy is just a progressive leftist, right out of the Bernie Sanders playbook. He was endorsed by Bernie Sanders. So this was a statement by Kamala that basically said two things. One is, I'm afraid of the progressive left Hamas wing of my party, one. And two, I'm going to double down on my progressive California policies and pick a guy that's, just like me, that wants to do, basically bring statist or socialist policies to America. It's not going to work. Minnesota trails only California, Illinois, and New York in terms of net migration out. And so this guy, what a complete disaster, but what a great moment for Republicans. I'm sure they were doing cartwheels at Mar-a-Lago yesterday.
Now, yeah, exactly. Now, Josh Shapiro, Pennsylvania governor.
Yeah.
Now, I think I'm right in saying that 10 of the last 12 presidential winners have won Pennsylvania. So it is regarded as the state you have to win if you're going to win the presidential election. Now, that's why a lot of people thought, well, she'll go for Josh Shapiro. That way you get Pennsylvania. However, Josh Shapiro has that problem with the Democrats. He's Jewish. And the Democrats, like our Labour Party, has an anti-Semitism problem. So she's gone for the safe choice. But in abrogating Pennsylvania, potentially, she may have lost herself the election.
Yeah, it was clearly appeasement to the radical left wing of the party, which is a shame, Kevin, because it's only 20% of Democrats. Most of these insane policies don't poll well with the majority of Democrats. But the party's been co-opted by the extreme left. So absolutely, Pennsylvania is critical. Kamala, I was just about to say Biden. It's only been 2 weeks. Kamala has to win all three of the upper Midwest states, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, and Michigan. Trump only has to win one of those. So by basically conceding Pennsylvania, she's still down. She's not down as much as Biden was, but she's still down considerably in Pennsylvania, 3 or 4 points. Of course, she was, Biden was down 5 or 6 points, but, she's definitely polling better than Biden. But this was a really bad mistake. Minnesota hasn't gone for a Republican since Nixon in 72. Even Reagan, who won 49 states in 84, did not win Minnesota. Granted, Walter Mondale was a senator from Minnesota, but still, it's a really progressive leftist state. And it's an easy one for the Democrats to win. It's tight right now, but I don't think Trump has a chance to win it even without Tim Walz. So, look, this was a disaster for the Democrats and great news for Republicans right now.
Yeah, because she was riding high. She's definitely had momentum. But it looks to me as if she's made a big mistake here. Suddenly, Trump, who I think has been looking a bit nervous in the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, he has.
My God, are the media rowing him out of the picture. You'd hardly know he exists for the last couple of weeks. But suddenly, she's made this decision. Trump, that'll put wind into Trump's sail again, won't it?
I think so. I mean, he'll get back to the issues: inflation, illegal immigration, crime in the big cities. Tim Walz fails on all three of those metrics. Obviously, Kamala Harris fails on those metrics as well. So, this is a real opportunity to focus on the things that Americans care about. They don't care about this woke leftist garbage on the left. So, get back to the three issues that people really care about. And then if you want to talk about Tim Walz and how he handled the George Floyd riots, letting his own city, his own capital city burn while Kamala was encouraging people to bail the criminals out. You had COVID lockdowns gone wild. I mean, Tim Walz was probably in the top 5 of lockdown fanatics. He had mask mandates for over a year. He's a tax and spend liberal, $18 billion surplus, thanks to the federal government bailing out the states during COVID, and he turned it into a $2.3 billion deficit. He's a Green New Deal guy. He's got electric vehicle mandates. He wants to be carbon-free by 2040, which is hysterical.
Greg, hold these thoughts. You might like this. We put a little package together of Tim Walz being, as you would call it, radically left. So take it away, Tim Walz.
A society that does not put equity and inclusion at the center of it is certainly going to eventually come to the places where we're at.
This is that catch-22. The more police are there, the more tension it is. The more tension it is, the more chance you have to get things.
Don't ever shy away from our progressive values. One person's socialism is another person's neighborliness. Just do the damn work.
He talks about this wall. I always say, let me know how high it is. If it's 25 feet, then I'll invest in the 30-foot ladder factory.
My producer Samara Gill just put that together, but Donald Trump might want to talk to her. That could be quite good for Trump, couldn't it?
Absolutely. I mean, that was a great, montage of comments. And the thing is, you don't have to speculate. You don't have to say things that might be true, might not. All you have to do is look at the tape. Look at what Kamala and Tim Walz actually say. And that's all you need to see. I mean, just run that tape. That's the greatest advertisement for Trump, is just running the tape of those two candidates. And it's and the word between the word salad and the progressive leftist insanity that they promote. That's an electoral winner for the Republicans.
Yeah, what did he said there? One person's socialism is another person's neighborliness.
Yeah.
What? That's not going to go well in America, is it?
And the shame is, I mean, obviously he's a careerist, right? He just wants to be in power. So when he ran for Congress, Kevin, he was actually a moderate. He won a seat that was held by a Republican for a long time in 2006. Granted, a great year for Democrats. But, he ran as a moderate. He actually voted like a moderate or a centrist Democrat while he was a congressman. But once he became governor, he turned into a complete, Gavin Newsom, Kamala Harris, Californian. And it's not selling. Cori Bush and Jamal Bowman, two members of the squad, just lost primaries in the last few weeks. Cori Bush was yesterday. So even the Democrats are pushing back against the radical progressive left pro-Hamas clowns that are basically running the party, even though they're not the majority of the party.
Do you think that this is the Kamala mistake that could mean victory for Trump now?
I don't know about that, Kevin, because the vice presidential pick doesn't really move the needle historically. Now, this election might be different because it's so different than any other election. So, on one hand, I think it was a big mistake. But on the other hand, I think she loses on her own merits.
Yeah.
And I think Yeah, if we focus on inflation, illegal immigration, crime in the cities, and the joke of a foreign policy that both Kamala and Joe Biden have had for,
Got it, Greg. Got it, Greg.
years.
Got to move on. Really good to talk to you. Good to have you back, Greg Swenson there.